So the first thing I need to do in this video, with humility, is thank you very much for 9,000 subscribers. We have 9,000 down, we have 91,000 to go. It's going to be a long journey, but I very much greatly appreciate it. When we hit 10,000, we will be doing a giveaway. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Again, it really helps us out. So today's video, we're going to be talking about best practices for eBay, right? So we'll be talking about 8 things that you need to do in order to have a successful eBay business. And I encourage you to stick around to the very end where we will have a bonus best practice. All of these things that we're going to talk about, I may have in the past talked about in a certain way, but these will be updated versions. And the very last best practice I'm going to talk about, I haven't even mentioned at all. So I highly encourage you to stick around to the whole video. Let's get into it. So it's a little bit embarrassing for me to say this, but I'm not the eBay expert that I used to be because there's been so many changes over the last couple of years. And my primary platform that I ship things through are Amazon. Now, I've said in the past, if I had all of my inventory here at the house, I would use eBay all the time. I would use it religiously. It's just more simplified for me. And when it comes to convenience in our hectic lives, if there's one thing that we really want, it's to have convenience, right? So the first best practice is to maintain consistency. I was talking to an eBay seller maybe a month or two ago. I had no idea that this is now a thing. When you hear people talk about algorithms, whether it's YouTube or TikTok, like you kind of have a sense of what exactly is going on with that algorithm. But I had no idea that eBay had an algorithm where if you were to list something, let's say once a week, every Monday, if you were to post listings every Monday consistently, or maybe some other day of the week, or the 3 times a week that were the same days, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I had no idea that they push your listing up. Now, for me, because I only really sell damaged sets on eBay, I don't necessarily go ahead and do that. If I have a damaged set, I will put it on a 7-day auction, and at the end of the auction, somebody's going to win it, right? But if you are somebody that sells consistently throughout the year, that's something that you should try if you haven't done it yet. Now, we have talked about this before, but it's worth noting again. Do not offer free shipping, friends. There are occasionally times where I will see a YouTube channel, and it's not necessarily LEGO related. It could be calculators or Goodwill hunts or something like that, where they religiously talk about offering free shipping. The thing that I would like to say to them is, let's see how often you offer free shipping if you keep on getting orders from California, Alaska, Hawaii, even that's happened to me a couple times, and you live closer to the East Coast than you do the West Coast. Remember, you are selling a LEGO set that should be in demand. So that gives you the flexibility and a little bit of leverage to make the rules yourself and be in control of the sale. So that's something that I never do. Avoid accepting returns as much as you possibly can. Again, you are in control of the sale. If you are selling a popular LEGO set, which you should be, I do not care if somebody passed my listing up an hour ago because I did not offer free shipping or I did not offer returns, because I'm well aware in a couple hours there's going to be somebody else that really doesn't care and they're going to pull the trigger on my LEGO set, and I'm happy for them to do it. Now, hopefully this is a tip everybody should know. I haven't talked about it in the past, but when it comes to listing items and it comes to images, just go ahead and pull those images off of Google. Let's say there's this Speed Champion set, right, that I'm selling. Speed Champion set 1, 2, 3, 4. I type in that set, theme, the number, and then I also type in box picture, right? And a lot of the images will be of the boxes, and I'll pull the best image from that. Now, you will want to go ahead and put your own image in it, right? So they know that you're not necessarily trying to scam them, which you aren't, but there are a lot of hypersensitive eBay sellers out there. So if you have a LEGO set and you can put it on your carpet or bedspread or something like that, just snap a picture so they know you physically have it, and that will will help out a lot. I would say the longer that I've been selling Lego sets on eBay, the more frequent I now have people asking me for a picture of the actual set. And another best practice that you should have is consider joining our Patreon, right? Our link is in the description right below. As I've said recently, we do have a lot of very fun, very informative guests, right? We've had Jake's Bricks, we've had my tax attorney, we've had a Lego ambassador recently, which I cannot name. We have over 100 exclusive videos that you just can't get anywhere else. And up to this day, we've had over 600 people join our Patreon. So if that's something you're thinking about doing, make sure you check out the link in the description below. Another tip, and I really don't think I've necessarily talked about this in the past, you just want to make your listing as simple and as easy as possible. There are times whenever I do purchase stuff on eBay, and you know when you get to the description, right, and you see this laundry list of stuff, they might be advertising their store, they'll have all kind of bells and whistles on the description. I really don't care about that. I want to know what the condition is in. Is it new? Is it used? How used is it? If this is a book that I'm purchasing. I recently purchased a first edition Hunt for Red October, a Tom Clancy book that was used. I read the description and then I went ahead and I pulled the trigger on it. But you just want to go ahead and keep it as simple as possible. The next best practice is before you even start your eBay business, you need to survey your area and look at the storage solutions, right? A couple years, there was this Patreon member. We were having our first one-on-one and he says, my number one question is, I live in New York City. I'm in a studio apartment and I have no place to put my Lego sets. What should I do? And I'm like, well, if you were going to immediately pull the trigger on $50,000 worth of sets, then you may want to consider getting a storage unit. But you need to survey your area, right? I know where I live in the Midwest, property is really cheap. I live in a very affordable 4,000 square foot house and I could put Legos pretty much anywhere, right? But if you are not in that situation, you need to go about and say to yourself, is this the right time for me to be purchasing and reselling Lego right now, instead of needing to put them underneath your bathroom sink as a proper storage place because you just don't have any other place to put those Lego sets. Another best practice is you need to utilize the historical sales data, right? Now this will be key because the more and more experienced you get and the more and more years you have under your belt, the less, I don't want to say the less due diligence you will have, because you definitely need to do your own due diligence when you pull the trigger on certain sets, but you have a good idea whenever, oh, there's a new Slave 1 that is coming out, or oh, there's a new X-Wing that's coming out. I know what these sets have done in the past. And this is something that I need to ask myself. Should I go in on purchasing these sets, or should I pass on these sets and decide to go somewhere else? The next thing is seek the advice of other resellers out there. Now, I've talked about your network in the past, and this kind of goes along with your network, but more specifically, what I'm talking about is to reach out to other Lego resellers on eBay, right? There was this one time, this one set, I forget what it was. I didn't have it, but this guy had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And I went ahead and I just sent him a quick message, and he really wasn't too talkative, but I want to say over the course of the time I've been doing eBay, I probably messaged maybe 20 resellers out there, and some of them were nice enough to chat with me, and we were able to not necessarily form a relationship, but we did have a good dialogue. We each learned something from each other, and that was pretty much it. So I really think if you were able to be more forward and reach out to other Lego resellers on eBay and send them a message, that will benefit you. And the last best practice, this is the bonus one. I've never talked about this one before, but I do occasionally get the question, and they say to me, Jim, what's going on with my feedback? How should I approach my feedback if I have a feedback of 0? Like, how can I go ahead and get people to give me proper feedback so people will be more willing to purchase sets from me? So I'm not saying that you should not consider asking for feedback during the entire year, but what I am saying is, if there was one time that you should focus on getting feedback, it's during the holiday season, right? I wouldn't immediately reach out to somebody that purchased something the first week in December and then reach out to them the second week of December and say, hey, can you give me a good feedback? I would reach out to them probably less than 45 days after the purchase. And I would say, listen, I'm really trying to establish myself as an eBay seller, or this could even work as on Amazon, right? And I really want to go ahead and I want to reach out to you and see if you could give me positive feedback. And the reason why that is because, you know, you might sell only 5, 10, 20 sets every month leading up to Q4, but when Q4 hits, you should be selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sets if that's your volume. And in the end, it's just a numbers game. If you were to go ahead and reach out to 100 eBay buyers, which isn't difficult, folks, because all we're doing is copy and pasting the same message, right? Odds are you probably would receive about 10 to 15% of positive feedback, and that only benefits you in the future. That's it, friends. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Once again, I'm Jim with wolfofbricks.com. Always go out there and get it.